morning to you. I'm Jim Sciutto. This morning, Ukraine's president is accusing Russia of carrying out a genocide in his country. This as Russian forces now refocus their assault on Ukraine's east and its south. Several missiles hitting one district in the port city of Odessa in the south. Overnight, one person was killed, 5 injured in early morning missile strikes that also hit the city of Mykolaiv. But in the Kyiv region, in the north, the aftermath of the Russian assault on the surrounding areas there, just brutal. We have to warn you, the images we're about to show you from the town of Bucha are extremely disturbing, but we believe it's important to see the stark reality of this war. And here it is. This is what remained in Bucha after Ukrainian forces retook the area from Russian forces. Bodies, civilians, in the streets. Some of them, it appears, killed execution style. And our own CNN team went there. This is what they found. Mass graves. The mayor claims as many as 300 people have been buried this way in ditches. Russian officials are denying the allegations of killing civilians. They claim the videos, keep in mind, our people went there. They saw them with their own eyes, but Russia claiming those videos are fake. Vladimir Putin, according to Ukrainian officials, is trying to systematically kill the Ukrainian people.
Indeed, this is genocide. The elimination of the whole nation and the people. We are the citizens of Ukraine. We have more than 100 nationalities. This is about the destruction and extermination of all these nationalities.
Remember, Vladimir Putin somehow claimed they're all Nazis with no proof. There also this news over the weekend. An important step for the Ukrainian military. They're going to be getting tanks like those that you're seeing right there. A senior U.S. official tells me that the U.S. will soon facilitate the transfer of Russian-made T-72 tanks to Ukraine, and that this transfer will happen. It'll be coming from NATO allies who use these tanks, and it'll happen within days, not weeks. It's an important step in military support for the Ukrainian military. Let's begin, though, in Bucha, just outside of the capital, Kyiv. Moments ago, we got some video in of the Ukrainian President Zelensky visiting that part of the area surrounding Kyiv. We're working on a translation of his comments right now. That's him there speaking in Bucha. CNN senior international correspondent Fred Pleitkin, he saw the horrifying scene for himself. This is his first-hand account of the devastation.
Hi there, Jim. Well, it's certainly still, a very tough and devastating situation here on the ground in Bucha. What you have behind me is that mass grave, that we've been talking about. The local authorities here tell us they believe there's, 150, maybe more people that are buried in there. Of course, the mayor has been saying that he believes around 300 people are buried in mass graves here in Bucha. The big problem is they simply don't know, because as the fighting was going on, more and more people were getting buried here, and they simply lost track. And it's something, unfortunately, that we see in this entire district of Bucha as more and more bodies are being found. Here's what we witnessed. As Russian forces retreat from the area north of Kyiv, in their wake, scenes of utter destruction. Whole blocks of houses flattened, Ukrainian authorities saying they believe dead bodies are still lying underneath. But here, the dead also lay in the open. Ukrainian National Police showed us this mass grave in Bucha, saying they believed up to 150 civilians might be buried here, but no one knows the exact number. People killed while the Russian army occupied this town. This is what it looks like when the hope is crushed. Vladimir has been searching for his younger brother, Dmitry. Now he's convinced Dmitry lies here, even though he can't be 100% sure. The neighbor accompanying him with strong words for the Russians. Why do you hate us so much, she asks. Since the 1930s, you've been abusing Ukraine. You just want to destroy us. You want us gone. But we will be. Everything will be okay. I believe it. Video from Bucha shows bodies in the streets after Russian forces left the area. Some images even show bodies with hands tied behind their backs. The Russian Defense Ministry denies killing civilians and claims images of dead civilians are, quote, fake. But we met a family just returning to their house in Borodyanka. which they say was occupied by Russian soldiers. They show us the body of a dead man in civilian clothes they had found in the backyard, his hands and feet tied with severe bruises and a shell casing still laying nearby. Russia's military appears to have suffered heavy losses before being driven out of the area around Kiev, this column of armored vehicles in Bucha completely destroyed. The way the Ukrainians tell us is that the Russians were trying to go towards Kiev, and they were then intercepted by Ukrainian drones, artillery, and also the Javelin anti-tank weapons. It's not clear how many Russians were killed here, but they say many were, and others fled the scene. A national police officer says the Russian troops were simply too arrogant. They thought they could drive on the streets and just go through. He says that they would be greeted as though it's all right. Maybe they think it is normal to drive around looting, to destroy buildings, and to mock people, but our people didn't allow it. And now it appears all the Russians have withdrawn from here. Ukraine says it is now in full control of the entire region around Kiev. But it is only now that the full extent of the civilian suffering is truly coming to light. And Jim, as you can imagine, the Ukrainian authorities extremely angry about all this. We've heard President Zelensky railing against the Russians, and the Ukrainians also launching an investigation into all of this. Obviously, they want to get to the bottom of how many civilians were killed here during the Russian occupation, and first and foremost, also, how these people died, Jim.
Just an alarming report. And by the way, that's our Fred Pleitkin and his team on the ground there, seeing these mass graves with their eyes, the bodies, not faked. They're seeing them with their eyes.